Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, and good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm Miss Lay Bella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet. And in behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael's Stores, would like to thank everyone for joining us this lovely afternoon. I am super duper excited. I can't stop smiling because today I get to share with all of you a kit that I designed in collaboration with Faber-Castell USA. In front of me is the Kawaii World. This is a creative art kit. This is what we're going to be using today. I know that this is not available at Michael's yet, but it will soon be available at michaels.com. But you can also call your local stores if they have it, because Michael's will carry this in select stores. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I am reading all your chat. Hello from hot Texas. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Karen. Hi, Tina. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Barb. Hi, Emma. Hello, Belle. Hello there, everybody. Hi, Kelly. All right. So this is the Kawaii World kit. I feel like it's been forever since I designed this, because when you're designing a product, it really does take a lot of time, going back and forth. There's a lot of revisions and all of that. But when I designed this, when Faber-Castell, first reached out to me and said, would you help us? Would love to collaborate with you, design a new product, a creative kit. And at first there's a lot of things that goes to your mind. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I really wanted I wanted to create something that really speaks about me and what I love and what I enjoy and how I started in this art. So when I was designing this whole activity kit, I was thinking about my journey as someone who didn't know how to draw, as someone who had no talent when it comes to drawing at all. So when I designed it, I thought about you, you that is so creative, you that is so curious and wants to learn more. This kit is for you. And may this kit inspire you to just keep creating, keep wanting to learn, and keep getting better. All right, so let's look at the kit, shall we? I'm going to move this aside and we'll open it and unbox the kit together. All right. And so inside this kit, you will get 6 Faber-Castell Gold Faber pencils. I don't know why my camera is super light. Let's adjust that one a little bit. All right, there we go. And then zoom it in. So you get 6 colors in here. You get a pencil and you also get a fine liner. You get an eraser and also a sharpener. And then you also get a bonus 2 sticker sheets that are included in the kit. Of course, my drawings too, that you can use in your journals, in your notebooks, and all of that. All right. And so inside you will find 100 different activity in here. So both drawing and also it is coloring book. So there are some finished designs in here that you can color. The very first page is my character, my unicorn character, Blossom. I love her. So you get a coloring page, and you also will get an activity page like this one, a step-by-step activity page that will help you draw these characters that I have created. And so inside the kit, also inside this book, there's different type of Kawaii World. So this is the magical world. We're not going to go through every single page because there's like 100 pages of many different types of activity, but I really just want to kind of like show you guys. Again, you have the coloring page on top, and then you have the activity book, the step-by-step drawing kit in here, right? So you get the magical world, some crystals, and then you have the kawaii things, kind of like, I don't know if you remember it. Maybe the kids that are watching now may not remember, or not know about the Tamagotchi is. The Tamagotchi is like a digital pet before the iPhones, before the tablets and all that. We have a Tamagotchi. It's kind of like a little tiny thing where there's a little digital pet in there that we take care of. And that's one special memories in my early childhood that I really love. So I drew that. Maybe you can ask your mom and dad what a Tamagotchi is. And then you have a tablet and then you have school supplies, an old school cell phone. You have a computer, a desktop. All right. So I figured now that it's summer, I think we have to draw a little bit that fits the summer. You have fruits, you have food, so you get different types, some avocados in here. You also get an under the sea Kawaii World. And I think that's what we should focus on today. All right. So I'm going to move over here. We're going to pick one that we can draw. We have a magical seahorse. We have some starfish, super simple, some shells. We have a narwhal. And then we have some jellyfish. I think when we did I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I showed you how to draw a cute crab and a cute jellyfish as well. All right, so that's what we have. So let's focus on that. I wonder what's in the worksheet. Nicole said, I love the Tamagotchi. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not alone here. I feel so old talking about the Tamagotchi. All right, okay, good. I'm not alone. All right. So again, inside you get 6 different colors. It was so difficult to pick just 6 colors, but I tried my best to kind of give you a wide range. So you have yellows, greens, some pinks. I couldn't just make one pink. So there's like a little bit of coral and then a brown. So those are the colors in here. And then you get a fine liner and you get a pencil. But because sometimes it's very difficult to see my drawings when I'm using a pencil, I'm just going to skip and use a Faber-Castell PITT artist pen in here in 1.5, a bullet tip. All right. Karen said they were popular around 20 years. Yeah, they really were. Okay, so if you weren't here when we did our little tiny jellyfish doodles, it's okay because we're going to be filling one page in here with all our, oh, this is what I used when I did my color palette. We're going to fill a page full of doodles. So if you have any type of markers that you have in there, I'm using the 1.5 bullet nib. Okay. And we're going to follow the instructions in here. So we're just going to start with a jellyfish. I know that we already did this. If you were here 2-3 weeks ago, then you did the jellyfish with me. All right. The first step instruction is draw a half circle. All right. Here we go. I'm going to zoom it in like that. All right. So grab a pencil or a marker if you want a pencil, just so you can erase it. But again, pencil sometimes is very hard for the camera to pick up. So I'm just going to use my marker. I might make mistakes, but we're going to be okay. So the first step, it says, draw a half circle. So we're going to make a half circle like this. We're going to follow the steps. All right. So I can show you how easy it is to follow along this instructions. And I'm going to move my camera so we can see the top part of my desk. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to draw in the middle part. I'm going to draw a half circle like this. Next, connect with a scalloped line. So we're going to make, again, it's almost like another half circle, but the opposite, upside down. So a little tiny letter U's or smiles, I must say. Like that. And it says, add a lot of squiggly line for the tentacles. So I'm going to start from the very left and I'm going to move from the left to the right. And then just squiggly lines like that. Right? And we're going to draw beside it parallel. We're going to follow the same squiggly line that we created. But as I go along to the bottom, I'll make it slightly wider. And I'm going to draw, connect, and I'm going to connect this one again with a letter U or a smile. It's like that. So that's how you make your squiggly lines. And when you make your squiggly lines or the tentacles, you want to make sure you play around with your size. Some would be shorter than the other, some would be longer than the others. So try that, okay? All right. I'm going to go here. So it's kind of like a windy road as well, right? When you make that squiggly lines. I'm going to here make this slightly shorter than the last one I made. Just like that. And then this one, draw. And what I love to do when I'm drawing a kawaii character, I love to think of a story. So, for example, that's how I'm able to kind of like add facial expressions because that's what I want you to think about. I want you to give this character a name or a story behind it, maybe a funny joke about the jellyfish. So I'm just going to add some patterns inside. It says add some surface details. And I love doing that by just adding like kind of like oval shapes like this. Just that. And then we're going to draw a kawaii face. D, I believe that there's a handout that I included from one of the pages from the book. So that should be available. I'm not sure if Carrie would be able to help us with the handout. All right, now it's time for the kawaii face. I'm going to make my eyes like this. It has an extension of lashes because I don't have lashes. So I'm going to make my character with long lashes like that. And then we're going to add a big, happy, smiling mouth. All right. I'm going to go grab some pencils and I'm going to color it and give it a blush. I love my blush on. Now, what you can do is you can add some bubbles. Bubbles are so simple. You have to draw circles and make variety of sizes. So some would be like large, medium, and then small. So small, medium, and large. And then I added just that one line on the side like this. And then I'm just going to add like almost flowing, almost letter C or a belly if you're going to do it on the right side. And then you can color that in, can color in your character with whatever coloring medium you love. I love colored pencils because sometimes I think my favorite is watercolor, but to be honest with you, when I'm like doodling and just having fun in my sketchbook, I really don't have time to wait for it to dry. So my second favorite would be a coloring medium would be a colored pencil. Yeah. It's just fun to add like colors in there. Just making it simple, just to add a splash of blue. Then you can color in your bubbles also to do that. And then, like what I said, if you want to have like a story with your jellyfish, then you can add a messenger bubble and just say If you want to add a joke or just maybe the word hi, just like that. Yeah, I really love the pencil, especially the Faber-Castell, the Gold Faber, because this one is in their creative studio line. So that means it's not super expensive. It's actually very decently priced for the quality because it's very easy to blend and you can also build up the intensity of the saturation or the intensity of the vibrancy of your colors. So just depends on how much, pressure you want to add in there or how much you want to pack in the colors. So I love colored pen. All right. So I'm going to go move on to the next. That's our jellyfish. Let us try a dolphin. All right. This is a little tricky because we're at the end of the book. So you might need a pencil for this one if you want to. So let's try with a pencil so we can follow the step in here. All right. I'm going to grab this pencil here. I'm just going to open you. Might be a little hard to see. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see my step by step in here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Zoom it in. Here we go. I didn't give a name to my jellyfish. I'll give a name to that. All right, so it says here, draw a tilted oval body. I'm going to show it a little close. So this is our first shape. This is our guide to create the body of the dolphin. All right, so a tilted oval. So I'm going to go make this slightly big. So I'm going to make an oval shape. Remember, when you're sketching, you want it to be light. You don't want your sketch to be heavy and then dark and hard to. I don't know where my erasers are. It's okay. I'm just not going to erase it. All right, so we have our tilted oval. Now we have to draw over the sketch to finish the body and the tail. We want to follow along. This would be, your oval would be the body of, or the size of your dolphin. So you want to draw a big oval if you want your dolphin to be bigger. If you want it small, then just draw a little small oval, because this is what we're going to follow along to complete our drawing of the dolphin. All right, so this is the part of the body. I think I did mine a little too small, but it's okay. All right, so from there, we're going to add a tail. So from here, the bottom part of my oval, I'm going to go stretch it a little bit, bring it down, and then bring it up. This will be the tail. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to stretch it because if your oval is too narrow, your dolphin is going to be narrow. So again, when we're sketching, this is where we make the adjustments. Basically, we make our sketch to guide us. It's our guide. It is not the final drawing. So we can make adjustments, we can draw, we can erase, and then make adjustments and then draw again. All right. So here, I feel like it's too narrow like this. I want my to be a little on the chubby side. So I'm going to adjust my sketch. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, this part right here. See how much I added? I added a little too much, like that. And it's okay because I want it to be thick. I want my dolphin to be chubby. And then I'm going to bring this up until it meets this point, this line right here, right? So it's almost like a teardrop. If you look at it, it's like a teardrop shape. If you look at it as a shape, it's like a teardrop shape. Adjust mine. This one's a little like that. So it looks just like a shape. What is this? This is not a dolphin. It's okay. We're going to adjust it. All right, now at the end part, we're going to add almost like when you're drawing a petal of a flower, right? But instead of a wide, we're going to start at this point of where the tail is. So we're going to go like this. And then we're going to add another over this. So that's the tail. And then we're going to create another same Same shape, almost like an eye, right? Like when you're drawing an eye. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to add the snout, the fin, and the flippers. So I'm going to start on top. We're going to add the fin on top. Again, when we're drawing kawaii, one of the things that I think it's really important to remember, we want to avoid too much of a sharp line. And anything that's like too pointy or too sharp. That's why we want to make it, even the edges, you want to make it slightly rounder. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that when I draw the fin. So instead of like a sharp line like this, look at this. I don't like that sharp line. I'm going to make it slightly round. So I'm going to go add here. And how do you do that? Kind of just like round the top and then bring it down. So just avoid the sharp lines. All right. Now from here, I feel like my dolphin is like jumping out of the water right now by looking at my sketch. So almost like making a splash, almost like going up. All right, so we're going to add the snout. So looking at it, look at your drawing, analyze the position of your drawing of your dolphin here. So maybe your dolphin is kind of like mine, which is kind of almost like pointing up. Its face is like facing up like this. So that means I want to add my snout on this part, the top part right here. And again, I'm going to avoid the sharp lines. So I'm just going to, oops, that's too long. Just like that. And I'm going to bring it down here a little bit. So when you make lines, I think this is important to understand. A little change can be big, especially when you're drawing small items or small little tiny creatures and characters like this. Little change in your drawing will have big effects. So what I want you to do is when you're making adjustments in your drawings and your doodles, try to make small adjustments until you see that result and say, you know what, that's not enough. I think that's one of the mistakes I was doing when I was, starting just to learn how to draw, is that I would erase it. I'm like, and I'm trying to figure out what was I doing wrong. And that's one of the things that I was doing wrong, is that when I erase something and then try to adjust what I did, I would make such big changes. So just try to make small changes and adjust from there, because you can always erase as long as you're sketching lightly, then you don't have to ruin your paper. Erasing also a lot of times can ruin your paper. So just sketch lightly and then make small changes as well. Okay, so I feel like this one, I can already see that my snout is going to be too long, which I don't want that. Let me grab an eraser. So I'm going to make some adjustments here, because I can already see that my snout is going to be a little too long. All right, I know it's hard to see when it's like a sketch. It's almost like not doing anything, but trust the process. And so I'm going to add a line almost in the middle, just like that. Can you already see it? Can you visualize your dolphin? I'm going to connect that right there. And then what can help also is maybe erase that first oval that you created as your guide. I know a lot of different artists, kind of like they have sketch on top of sketches and top of sketches, and that works for them. I personally really do have a hard time with that. I feel like I cannot see the whole picture or the big picture when I have sketch on top of sketches. I really have to adjust my sketches and then erase along the way for me to see that whole picture. All right, so we want to add some flippers over here. So remember that shape of our fin. It's almost what we're going to do. So we're going to add here. I'll start with a curved line like this. And I'm going to follow the shape I created with my flipper or with the fin. And that's what my flipper is going to look like also. Again, I am avoiding any sharp lines. So even the area, I don't want it to be pointy and sharp. I want it to be rounded. So I'll show you guys. Let's adjust that camera. There we go. So instead of a sharp line, I'm going to make this connection round like that. See that? It's not just a pointy thing. Okay, now looking at this, I feel like I can't adjust my fin. I feel like it's too close to its head. I feel like it should be around here in the middle, right? Don't you agree? So I'm gonna go over here, adjust that one. So instead of starting from here, I'm gonna start right in the middle. And I feel like that fin is way too big for the body of my dolphin. Look how much that change I added. See? And I feel like it's still a little too close in there. If I'm going to look at it really, let's make an adjustment. That's why I wanted to use pencil for this one, because I know it's a little challenging. And to get the right proportion will take a little bit of adjustments. And that's okay, because that's part of drawing. You have to trust that process. So I'm going to go from here, because my dolphin is a little too tilted. So I'm trying to figure out where to add that fin right there. Okay. There, I'm happy with that. And then we're going to add the belly. So look at me, I'm moving my notebook around. Instead of me trying to move my arm, I'm just going to move my canvas or this notebook like this on the side. And so from where my mouth is, I'm going to add a belly. So following the shape of the dolphin, just adding a line at the bottom, just following the shape. Okay, we're not doing anything special. We're just following the bottom like that. Cecilia, I think that Michael's will get the kits around, they said this month, like this month or next month. So hopefully soon. I know that will be in select stores. I think what can help also would be to call the store. Sometimes they might have it already. You know how that is. Okie dokie. So now we can add, we have this smile, this little dolphin smile. We're going to add some ice. I'm just going to add a dot in there. I feel like the way my dog is like flipping and pointing up like this, I feel like this is almost like a flipper and not a fin. Does that make sense? Or it's just me over analyzing things. Could be just me, but it really does look like it. Now for the belly, I'm just to add a little bit of visual interest. I'm just going to add some stripes, just to add some patterns. Remember when you're drawing kawaii characters, this is your character. It doesn't have to be realistic. So it's almost like creating a cartoon character, right? So if you want to have where your dolphin has a lot of hearts inside, you know, the belly, the pattern is like hearts, go ahead, add that. I mean, yes, please. All right, so this for the tails, I am going to follow the same shape, kind of like the eye shape, the almond eyes. I'm just going to add an inside stroke like this. Okay, so right now I am questioning my fin. That's the only thing I'm questioning in this drawing. So I'm just going to erase it again. But this is honestly how I draw. I go through so much changes and it's okay. So maybe if I do it closer here, just because of the position of my dolphin, just going to adjust it again. I am not getting this. For some reason, my brain is not catching on. All right, I'm going to do it there. And then we're just going to add another flipper here. It's almost like hidden underneath the body of our dolphin. So then this way, if there's 3, I know that this is his or her flippers. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a girl. Maybe, no, I think I want it to be a boy this time. But that's it. That's the dolphin. I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna stop. I think it's adorable too. But sometimes it's kind of like knowing when to stop, you can just keep making adjustments and all that, but it's kind of like, all right, Lade, it's cute. So I'm just gonna add some more teardrop, almost like the dolphin body for the splash of water in there. Now we can add more here. So just a teardrop. Like this. Woo! It's so cute. It's actually super cute. All right, now I'm going to add a line art just so we can see it. And I'm going to use a brush pen so you guys can visualize it. I'm gonna go like that. And then when I do my line art, you can still make some adjustments. If you feel like, you know what, I feel like I can adjust a little bit of this line, make it wider or make it shorter. But just be careful because line art for me can make or ruin your drawing. And I am not going to lie, sometimes it does ruin because I'm not being careful. And I wanted to make a line art just so you guys can see that there are not always where it's like I have no pointy line. For example, the fin or the tails, I needed some pointy lines in there, right? But it's okay. It just kind of like balance everything. If you want to make the fin sharp also, I mean, it's okay. But I feel like it's cuter in kawaii when it's more chubby, more on that squishy side of things. But for the fin, it's okay to have a little pointy in there. Tail, lay tail. All right. There we go. So we can color this in. Just like that. Yes, Ria, this is a PITT artist pen. The reason why I love the PITT artist pens from Faber-Castell because it is waterproof. So that means if I want to color this with some watercolors later on, it's going to be okay. It's not going to bleed through and going to mess up my drawing. I love it. And then you can just use your eraser to erase your sketch. That's why it's important to kind of like really draw or sketch lightly. Oh, we forgot to add the stripes pattern. This time I'm using a super fine tip for like small details in my drawing. So the brush really helped me give that thin and thick strokes depending on the amount of pressure I apply. So I love using different type of tips of my markers. You can really play around. Let's use a little different pink this time. Well, you know what? I'm going to use a coral color for my blush. Just like that. It's so cute. Oh, good, Chrislyn. I don't know. I never had problems with my you should always just kind of like do this. This is my daughter's job. She plays around with my eraser. It's kind of like a putty. So she's just kind of like, Mom, I think your eraser needs some cleaning. So this is what she does. So just kind of add some moisture. If you massage it a little bit, you know, our hands will have like a natural oil. Maybe that will help. And I don't keep it in special place or anything like that. Maybe you should always keep it in that plastic container that the erasers comes in, you know, maybe that will help. But other than that, I never had that trouble. Okay, so what time is it? 5:30. Shall we color in our dolphin or create another character? Let's add another character. The putty eraser, this one is from Faber-Castell also. I love it because there's no eraser suds, so it's much cleaner when I'm doing a lot of erasing. And then it doesn't erase my line art, or it doesn't smear my line art as well. But also because the Faber-Castell PITT Artist pens, they dry really fast. So that's one of those things, you know, different markers. And of course, when you're using different paper, it gets, you know, different results. Depends on what type of paper you're using or what type of marker you're using also. All right, so let's look for more characters. I think we can add at least one or two. Yeah, Joe, you really need it. It's going to be, just make it so easy. All right, let's look at some seashells in here. Oh, they're so cute. I wanted to show you some page in here where I already colored in some page. For example, this one, this is already colored in. So in August, we're going to be revisit the Kawaii World, but we're going to be doing some back to school doodles because it's almost back to school again. So we have some colorings in here already, little fun, cute colorings. All right. So how about some seashells in here? Let's look.
Hey, Lay, quick
Very
question about the
easy.
eraser.
Yes. Yes.
Do
Yes.
you find that it gets too sticky?
No, I don't think so. I never had that problem when it's too sticky. Yeah. I feel like sometimes my hands really does sweat sometimes. So I don't know if that's because of that. But I never had that problem. Just keep it in that plastic, little tiny plastic container. Okay, so let's do some shells. This is an easy shell. So let's choose a slightly complicated, but let's start with a simple shell right here. Okay. My sketchbook. Oh, my sketchbook. Oh, let's do the crab and some shells. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. My sketchbook is, I was designing this sketchbook to sell, so I cannot disclose anything yet. But yes, I love it because it's top loading. So I really love that because my other sketchbooks where the spring is in the middle or the spiral, it's hard to draw, you know, so I really don't like it. All right, so I'm going to use a 1.5. We're going to start with the easy shell first. Remember when we did the jellyfish and we drew a half circle? Now I'm just going to adjust the light again because it's too dark now. Okay. So this time we're going to start with the bottom curve. So with the jellyfish, we started with a half circle on top, but this time we're going to draw a bottom curve, a curved line, but at the bottom. So it's almost a big smile. All right, so a wide smile. This one is going to be super duper easy. Now, the more you draw with repetition, you're going to see an object like a shape. For example, the seashells. Automatically, when you look at it, you're going to think of a shape first. And so with the jellyfish, we did that, you know, curve, a half circle on top. but that's what we're going to do when we draw ice cream sundae also. So the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you see things as shapes, then the easier it gets over time. All right, so we have the bottom curve. Now we're going to add a base to this. So you want to do 2 lines, left and right. And then we're going to connect it. Just like that. And then remember when we did the scallop to connect our jellyfish? It's almost the same here, but this time to add a bump, almost a scalloped line, but it goes almost like a ladder where it goes higher. So you start with the left or whichever side you're most comfortable. If you want to start with, if you're a lefty, then you want to start with your right side of this one. But I'm a righty, so I'm going to start here. And look, I'm just going to add a small scallop, right? And it goes higher. So I'm going to add another one here. And then I'm going to draw a slightly wider one. So that's your middle part. And then it goes down to the other side. Just like this. And then we're going to go connect lines, but slightly curving, not just straight. So from the top to the bottom. And just like that. And then you can choose to add like maybe a bow if it's a girl. So just 2 almost like teardrop. So again, the more we do this, you're going to see, oh, it's just like that. It's just like how we did the other thing. You're going to see that and you're like, oh, I can do that. So that's a really simple bow. And then you add a cute kawaii face. And you have a little tiny seashell. Now let's draw another type of shell in here. We can draw a starfish. Now for the star, the slinkier it is, I think the cuter it is. We don't want to have like a perfect star. We can draw that some other things. But I think for this one, I think we want it to be more slinky and long and just kind of like it has to have a character. So let's do that. We want to start with the V or the upside down V on top. So I'm just going to draw it here at the bottom. So I'm going to draw, and this one has to be narrow. So look, it's not wide. It's almost like an upside down cone or an upside down letter V, like this. And then we want to stretch also. We're going to follow that same shape. All right, so we're just going to connect it left and right. And then down. Yes, we'll go flip through the magic characters again before I say goodbye to you guys. And just like that. So we have a little tiny starfish. And then the way I like to decorate my starfish, then you can add patterns in here. You know, you can have like add a spiral that goes around, play around with that. Whatever you like. This is your character, remember. Like that. Then I'll make another one so we can add. We all know how to draw a star, but sometimes we just overthink it because we want to make it perfect. But honestly, when you want to create something kawaii or a whimsical character or a drawing, what it is the more imperfect it is, I feel like it really does add some character to the character. Does that make sense? There's like more, it makes it more interesting. It makes it more whimsical and more magical. Right. So I'll show you another type of patterns that you can add in your starfish. So I'm just adding like a black in like half circles on the sides of my starfish like this, just like that. And when the moment you add color to this, that's going to change it. It's going to bring it to life. And I'll add a cute face in there, just like that. And then we'll do a tiny crab. So I guess you guys weren't here 2 weeks ago when we did the crab. Remember when we did the jellyfish? That's what we're going to do again. We're going to create a half circle. And then on top, instead of the bottom, like what we did in our seashell. So we go on top, half circle like this. All right. And then we're going to connect it, slightly curving, bringing it down in the middle and connect it to the sides. Now you want to add some little tiny legs to it. It's almost like little waffle, little cones. Just like that. And then to add the claw, just like that. You know, when you make like a volcano, so it's kind of like a triangle, but leave it open on top, right? Like this. And then I'm going to move my notebook around or my sketchbook. And then we're going to add another half circle, this time going down. Can you guys see the pattern now? We're almost using the same shape over and over again to create different characters. And then from the top, I'm going to add another half circle, almost like a crescent moon, just like this. I can always hear a character doing that. Okay, then I'll go on the left side like this. I think the thing that you want to keep practicing would be to keep things more balanced, more symmetrical, but you don't want it too perfect. I think that's overrated. But as long as, one is not so big than the other. For example, your two hands. But then again, art is so subjective. If you want to do that, I think it's okay. But if you want to be a more balanced thing, then you want to make sure that your sizes are very similar to one another. So my left and my right are, close in size. So, and now we're going to add some eyes for our crab. Again, same how we did the claws. I'm going to add two with that open triangle on top. I'm using a marker already, so sometimes it's hard because, it's going to be not perfect when it's not sketched in first. Now we're going to add this circle for the eyes. Just two like that. I'm going to add like that eyes. That would be my eyes, like almost like calm. If you want to add lashes, when did you see a crab with lashes? I don't know. I haven't checked out the crab. So close. They probably do. If you want to put it on, you can too, I suppose. I want to bring in some characters. If you want to just add like a, so I'm just showing you variety of looks. Want a full circle, just black in there. This one's like, like super shocked, like that. Then you can add a little smiley. And again, for the belly, I'm just going to connect lines and just like that. So I think when you're drawing kawaii characters, the more simpler it is when you don't add too much stuff happening, the cleaner your lines are, the more cuter it is. So if you're going to look at the drawings in here, they're very simple lines, not a whole lot going on. And I think that's what makes it really cute, the simplicity. All right, so we're going to do one more shell here because we don't have a whole lot of time. Ava said that it looks like Mr. Crab and she is 6. I know. Me dollar. My daughter is 13 and she still watches that show every morning. Okay, so let's do another seashell. I really, really like this one. Super cute. So how we're going to do that, if you want to start with a circle, it's always useful. And when we have a lot of time, I like to do that. Um, I always like with a guide, I always start with a guide. So if you want to do a circle first to kind of like get you started, I feel like this is too big, but it's okay. So within this circle, think of an artist palette. You know, the artist palette where it's almost like, think of a curve, the curved lines of a guitar, an artist palette, that old school where it's almost like it has this shape like this. It's almost like a bean, um, like this, just like that. It also looked like a cheese curls to me. So I don't know how else to explain it. Maybe I'm hungry, but it's kind of like a bean. I'm just going to stick with the bean. So cheese curls or a bean, all that. So start with that circle. That's exactly what you can do because I'm going to go now start creating this. So think of an artist palette, a little bean. That's the shape that we're going to create to start this seashell. It's like this one. Okay, then from here, I'm going to follow along and add another line. So I'm just following this stroke right here and then adding another one outside it. I could have probably inset this one. Let's do that. So I'm going to make a drawing of a bean like this. All right. And then I'm going to add another line just like that. And then you want to add little tiny shapes going smaller as you go up. Just like that. Just adding some patterns inside. Like a little tiny shell. Let's try another one. Last one. So we can do the clamshell. Someone requested for the clamshell. Do I have enough space in here? I'll just move on to the next one. Here. Yes, it is like a unicorn horn. Great job, Joe. Okay, so the last one, we're going to create this did I say clamshell? Okay, let's do the clamshell. So we want to start with a circle for the clamshell. We have our pearl, right? And then this is like almost drawing a fan. I know it's kind of weird, but we're going to go up like this, like that. And then we'll follow that shape. I'm not doing so well because I'm not sketching this. I feel like I can adjust this one. I should have made this slightly wider. But that's what happens when you're not using a pencil. So again, like little tiny scalloped again is what we're going to do. And then we're going to follow along and create the same scallop, but the one on top, just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing, the bottom, add your half circles or scalloped, just like that. And then we do the same thing. We thicken this, add an extra stroke outside to give us a visual of width or an extra width in there. And then like what we did earlier, we're going to just connect the lines, just like this one. And then we're going to add a little tiny kawaii face. That kind of looks really weird to me right now. Okay, let's do one last one. We have 3 more minutes so we can learn more. Let's do another shell. Now, this one, I'm going to just add a line like this. So it's slightly slanted on top, but not so much. So it's not just straight. Now we're going to add a line like this. All right. Then we're going to connect it just like that. Notice how my lines are. It's not straight. It's like almost like slight, very slightest on top. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create almost like a ladder again. This is easy to misinterpret. So I don't want you guys having any idea right there. And then we're just going to, from the top, we're going to bring this down. So it depends on how many, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, we're going to do 2, 3, and then 4. Right? And then from here, remember that slanted line? That's what we're going to do also. We're just going to follow along this. This is how you make like ice also, or like ice cream sundae. So many different things that you're going to be creating by just following the same simple shapes, simple lines, simple strokes. The more you do it, the more you practice, you'll get it. You'll get it like this because you're like, oh, that's just how you do things, in your mind, you already know it because you were practicing other objects or other characters that you created using the same simple basic shapes. So look at this. I'm going to add like corals or seaweeds and all that. Remember when we did the starfish with some slinky, wiggly lines? You can make some corals almost like just like this one by adding some lines like this. And then you can add the same pattern that we used for our starfish. Add like that. So you can add some textures in your drawings. But I think the more you play, the more you will learn, the more you allow yourself to make mistakes, the more you're going to find out things and learn how to be better. So again, a lot of wiggly lines, a lot of practice, a lot of sketchbook, a lot of creative time you're going to see the improvement. And keep a sketchbook. I always advise everybody to do that because when you keep a sketchbook, you're going to see your progress. Because sometimes when you use like loose paper, you feel like, oh, I'm not really improving. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I see any changes. But when you have a sketchbook that really see and track your progress. You're going to find out, oh, I can do my tail much better than how I did it last month or 2 months ago. But just practice, just keep practicing. And also understanding what type of art do you really enjoy. Like with myself, I really do enjoy the kawaii cartoon characters like this. The simple kawaii, the more simple it is, the more joy it brings me. So yeah, this is our Kawaii World. Again, this kit is coming very soon at your local Michaels, both at your local stores and also online. Kawaii World is going to be fun. It's going to bring you a lot of inspiration. You're going to find out a lot of things. There's a lot of easy follow along practice pages in here that you can do by yourself. But again, in August, we're going to revisit the I'm sorry, revisit the Kawaii World because we're going to create some back to school doodles. All right. So next week we are going to be unboxing and checking out the Enchanted Forest. This is the other kit that I have. This is the same doodling and coloring page. We're going to create some fun, whimsical, magical drawings from this kit. I don't think that Michaels have this in store yet, so it's okay as long as you have your colored pencils, you have a simple marker, your book. Make sure to sign up because it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. On behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, my name is Bella Ralston. I really did enjoy and had a wonderful time this evening. Thank you for joining in. And as always, stay creative and stay happy. I'll see you again next week. Thank you, everybody.